Greetings, my name is Kevin Amboe and I am the STA's Professional Support Services Officer. I'm standing here in the trails behind our STA building just off of King George. And I want to start by acknowledging this is the traditional unceded territories of the Katzie, Kakite, Kwantlen, and Semiahmoo nations. They were the stewards of the land before and continue to be so, and we as an association are working to build towards reconciliation and growing our relationship to the land. I want to give kudos that you've made it this far in teaching during a global pandemic that nobody has experienced before, and nobody has all the answers on how to proceed. Ideally, we all have our filters on and that we're functioning as if it wasn't a pandemic, but that's not necessarily the case. So we need to remind ourselves to put our filters on in what we say and how we interpret the actions of others as well. Sometimes we ask personal questions, but those can be too personal as well. So what do I mean? Well, we have varying levels of relationship with our colleagues. Sometimes we feel it's a deeper relationship with more trust than our colleagues may feel. Sometimes we work closely together for so long, we just assume that we have that kind of trusting, deep relationship. So questions about life events can be positive in close relationships. However, as colleagues, we can't assume that's the case. And those questions can be incredibly painful. In the absence of full information and a full developed trusting relationship, our thoughts can fill in the blanks or to complete the rest of the sentence when somebody asks us a question. When are you retiring? Can be extended to be, when are you retiring because you look really old and you should quit teaching? Or, when are you retiring because I want your job and I'm hoping you leave soon? When are you having kids? When are you having kids? Because that's what's expected of you, is what could be heard by our colleagues. That can be a very painful question. Not everybody's able to have kids. Not everybody wants kids. And it's none of your business. When are you getting married? Because that's what people are expected to do. We can complete the sentence when that question has been asked. Maybe I don't want to get married. Maybe I was married. Those are questions that, unless you have the right relationship, are not appropriate. Why are you using so many sick days? Somebody can be going through cancer treatments or other things they don't want to share. They can be going through other issues they also don't want to share. It's not our place to ask questions into people's personal lives when we don't have the relationship. And as a colleague, it's often really hard, even after years, to know if we have that full relationship. So to help us not ask those hurtful questions, check our thoughts if they're portraying a bias or an expected status quo. Be mindful of how our colleagues may respond because we don't know the details. Do I have that relationship for that discussion? Does it belong in a conversation that's not part of school? If you're asked those questions that are hurtful, be clear when the question's beyond your boundaries to share. I don't feel that's an appropriate question. That's a painful subject and I don't want to discuss it. I don't need to explain or justify my life. That's just not something I want to discuss. Consider our colleague's question is probably not intended to be hurtful. Give grace that we all make mistakes, and sometimes that hurts. However, we can learn to do better. So calling them out and asking that they not talk to you about those questions is appropriate. Be clear if someone else asks you questions about a colleague. All of our colleagues have a right to privacy, and I don't want to share that with you. I don't feel that's an appropriate question. Give grace. They may not realize how personal that question is, and it's not ours to share. So to sum up, let's pull together, work through the last part of the year, be mindful of what we say to each other to make sure we're not thinking we have a stronger relationship and are able to ask those questions. Maybe without a pandemic, they might have the resilience to brush it off and not take it as hurtful. But in the current times, we need to be super aware of our words, our actions with that. So let's work towards the last month, get through this together, and take the summer to rebuild ourselves and be ready for an awesome fall. Thank you.